What it is about, we just can't understand. I'm just about to say I'm ready for them. Why do they have to play for such short period? Every night, every day, people want to hear this thing on way. We want you all the time, not just what you want. Mama, let me hear you. Everybody want to hear more fun. What it is about, we just can't understand. I'm just about to say I'm ready for them. Why do they have to play for such short period? Every night, every day, people want to hear this thing one day. We want you for all the time, not just what you want.
Hello, everyone. Good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you guys are. Hello, welcome to All Things Pan. So this was the song of the day today was Pan Night and Day by the great Lord Kitchener. Just a little fun fact. This song was actually played for Panorama in 1985, and two bands actually tied for first place with for Desperados with the arranger of Beverly Griffith, and of course Renegade Steel Orchestra with the great Dr. Jit Samaru. So that was a little tidbit for you guys today. Once again, welcome to All Things Pan. I am your host, Danielle George. So as you guys to panists, arrangers, tuners, and pan enthusiasts like yourself from all over the world on this page, I'm so excited to welcome not one, but two guests on this show today, Dr. Mia and Kygel Benjamin. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Can't complain. How we doing?
Yeah, we hanging in there.
So you guys are hanging in with all the COVID and the shutdowns and everything? Yeah.
Well.
That's good. So how's the weather over there? Is it nice at least?
Hot.
Yeah.
It's very hot, but I mean, if you are still staying home, like we are, we're not really experiencing the weather outside as much,
I see.
but,
yes.
It's been raining a few times.
Yeah. Get some rain for the past 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Same here. We're finally getting nice weather.
No snow? Goodness. Seems like it snows 6 months out of the year in Edmonton.
I know, right? It's finally gone. So once again, welcome. I'm so excited to have you guys on the show. So excited. Of course.
Good to be here.
Of course. Awesome. So we're going to start a little easy, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty later on. Is that okay?
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. So like I say to all you guys that's watching, if it's okay with you guys, the last 15 minutes, I'll be getting the viewers to ask you guys questions. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll start easy. How long have you both been playing pan?
Oh, how long have you been?
For me, about 21 years. I know you stay fan longer than me.
About 26 years for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So what got you both involved in pan, or who got you involved?
Well, for me, my older brother, who is mentally disabled, he showed interest in music. So my parents bought him a steel pan and actually asked the teacher to come home to teach him. And he wasn't very interested. And instead, at 5 years old, I was sort of reaching over my head, trying to play the pan. And the lessons for him turned into lessons for me. And that's sort of how I started. And because I was so young, I actually don't remember, what about the instrument that drew me towards it, but it's a beautiful instrument. So I could see how a 5-year-old could be intrigued by this shiny, thing that makes all these different sounds, So that's sort of how I got into pan.
How about yourself?
For me, I actually started to like pan back in the day, some years ago. We used to have like single pan on buses when we go to the beach excursions. And one time I went and they had the band on the bus. And when they got to the beach, I went, just to play around with one of the pans, that was sitting down there on the bus. And, I was really intrigued, curiosity, and from there, when I got back home, one of the neighbors who was on the excursion said, come, mind me, and come and play this pan I have here. And, he's like, yeah, what, go by Uncle Bob. He was a tuner in the area for Blue Diamonds at the time. That's the band I'm from. Originally, that's my first band, Blue Diamonds. Okay. And from there it was, just pan all the way, all day, every day.
Nice. So since you already answered my question, Dr. Mia, who was your first band that you played with?
Well, first official band was Trinidad All Stars. I mean, I joined when I was 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I was very young. I joined the stage side. I came in the middle of the year. And I've been there sort of ever since.
So you've never left?
I've never left. I mean, well, I left as in I had to go away and study. So there was years where I really wasn't on the stage side, but I was on the stage side from 9 years old till about 16. And then I went away for a while. I came back for a few panoramas, and then now I'm back, and I'm still strong member of Trinidad All Stars.
Always a member.
Yeah. And so is he. He was a Blue Diamonds, but he also ended up coming to All Stars at a young age as well.
Okay.
I started at Diamonds, while I was in primary school, and I didn't spend long there actually. 2001 was when I went over to All Stars, because All Stars and Blue Diamonds kind of almost like on the same street, although the addresses are different. Because Blue Diamonds is on George Street, and all the way to the end of George Street, it goes into a cross street, and at the end of George Street, and right at the end of George Street there is All Stars.
Oh, okay.
So one night, late in the night, for panorama time, we were practicing, and Blue Diamonds was a really small band, is a small band. And, when we finished practice, you could actually hear All Stars music coming all the way down George Street. So I was like, who is this band up the road here, So, one day I actually walked up, and I was in awe of how big the band was, and I decided to join right after Panorama that year, 2001.
Okay. So that's where the love started?
For both? I went to the same school as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For 1 year, we were in Form 1 at Southeast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then around that time...
Actually, I might have met you at the Panya Station, because...
Maybe so. We don't remember.
Yeah.
It seems like we've known each other forever.
When I knew you was after, maybe I saw you in the Panya in All Stars for Panorama 2001, and then, then we went to secondary school, and what really hit home for me was I saw you on TV playing for 12. I know she, boy. And so I made the connection, after playing and all that, because in 2001 when I joined, I wasn't really familiar with anybody.
Okay. I remember seeing him walking into the panyard and thinking, oh wait, he goes to Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
I know him. I mean,
That's
eventually I
funny.
transferred to St. Joseph Convent, which is a different school, but I was always in Southeast for lessons after school, and then we were always in All Stars together. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So who saw who first? Are you gonna?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I actually was when I saw you on 12 and it actually, kind of made me want to reach out to you and talk a little bit
Okay.
because she didn't really know who I was, but she was a star all the time, So
No, I know just when he came into the party, I'm pretty sure the first time I was like, I know him. He goes to Southeast for Spain, and he was in the music room. Like that's my memory,
Okay.
And then we became friends very quickly.
mhm.
Not many
Okay.
people were our age in All Stars at that time. We
Oh,
don't have
okay.
then there was no youth band or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, all of us who were around the same age were friends, So.
Hmm. Nice. So we're gonna step away from your relationship for a bit. So who are your influences within Pan? Do you have any influences that you look up to or kind of imitate?
Yeah, well, I mean, I look up to musicians, of course, in the pan world, but then I also like to look out at other musicians as well, because we're sort of musicians and the pan, panists, but we're also musicians first in a sense. And of course, to me, it's everybody who's pretty much come before us and paved the way for us. I definitely look up to the people who have taught me. I feel actually very happy and fortunate to have the teachers that I've had. Like the late Cliff Alexis.
Okay.
He played a very important role in my life. Of course, Professor Liam Teague. I learned a lot from him when I studied under him for 6 years. And then, of course, all of my teachers come in through from primary school to secondary school. We have Miss Odessa Vincent Brown, Mrs. Patrice Neves, even Natasha Joseph was somebody who taught me growing up. So there were some significant people who I value and I try to look up to. And then, of course, you have the Bugsies,
Yes.
and the Leon Smooth Edwards,
Yes.
So they in particular, I look up to them as, professional arrangers and musicians. But then, of course, I also look to other places as well, for inspiration. Like one group that we actually saw in Orlando that inspired me quite a bit was Blue Man Group.
Okay.
And I thought, oh my gosh, the creativity that's with the music. And that's kind of where my head is right now with not just the performance of the music, but what comes with the experience.
Right.
Of the audience member, so I'm really into things like that. I really want to go to Cirque du Soleil at some point.
You need to go. Yeah, you need to go.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like I pull from all sorts of different things as opposed to just looking at the pan world for inspiration. And I'm very grateful to those who came before us and sort of paved that way, because we wouldn't be able to be here if those people didn't pave the road, and then we are also paving the road for ones to come after us.
Exactly.
So that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, not much to say after that, but for me, my inspiration is basically everything I hear and everybody I see. It's hard to, just not hear people while hearing them. So everybody I hear play, or every band I hear play, or solo sing, all the music I hear, it influences me in some way. But I do have a few favorites that I always think that I reference and I like the most. When I was younger and I had a passion for arranging music, I would really listen to a lot of Ray Hellman,
Okay.
Boogsy, and my home band is always All Stars. So I'm always inside of All Stars music, the vibe. So those three always have like a that root from where my music come from, because the music that they produce, it speaks the most to me.
Right.
It affects me the most, although I like all listening to everybody and stuff like that, they influenced me the most.
Okay.
Realman, Bugsy, Leon Smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is also important to mention, at least on my side of things, the women too, right? I mean, because steel pan historically has been such a male-dominated field, that we also have to pay tribute to people like Mrs. Mola Albino Di Coto, who is also my teacher, Pat Bishop, so even those people too, I think very influential as well.
Yeah.
Not to mention those who actually got into music in the first place.
Right.
For me, that person is Bertrand Bob Thomas, the tuner, and throughout my secondary school time would have been my music teacher, would have Sir Vincent Brown. Also like a second mother for me. That would have really nurtured, everything musical in my bones, so yeah. I really have to shout out those people as well, because they're really foundation, but they got it started,
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I said Mrs. Mola Albino Di Coto, but she just received an honorary doctorate, so she's doctor.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I have to get used to saying that.
All right.
Okay. So speaking of that, Mia, Dr. Mia, what got you into getting your master's in music?
Well, I did my bachelor's at Northern Illinois University, and it just seemed sort of automatic to go into the master's program.
Right.
So I mean, I'm already there. I felt like I had more to learn. So just being there and being part of the program, it was almost like I didn't have to think too much about it. It was just this automatic thing of, I here already. Let me just go ahead and do this master's. For 2 years. So I can't say I put too much thought, into it. It just seemed so automatic because it was right there, But I did put a lot of thought into the ethnomusicology because then I went to Florida State where I got a second master's in ethnomusicology, and that took more of a thought process to go there because I didn't plan to get a second master's degree. I was actually upset that I had to get a second master's degree because I already had one, but I didn't have one in the field that I wanted to pursue the doctorate in. So I had to then repeat a master's degree, which turned out to be very important. I don't know if I would have made it if I didn't actually do that.
Right.
So yeah, I can't say for the steel pan performance masters that there was this big story behind, the reason why, I pursued it. But yeah, that's the story.
Okay. So what got you both into arranging?
I'll leave that up. He arranges way.
Yeah, but
way more than I
arranged a large band. I didn't arrange a But what got me into arranging? I don't know what it is, but I always had a passion for it. I really liked it. That aspect of music where you get to, create and embellish on a song. It, was, I don't know, it was what really, really inspired me to do music, to keep into the music because, playing, yes, I play a little bit, not much anymore, but
a little bit, yeah, right.
I'm more of a percussionist right now with the National Steel Symphony Orchestra. But I can't say my passion is playing so much. My passion is arranging. I love to arrange. Like I could do it all day, every day. So the thing that really got me into it, I can't say. It's just something that was inside that I love to do. And I started to do it actually in secondary school.
Okay.
I can't remember what year it was, but I believe I was probably in Form 3. Like Form 3, that's my third year of school. And the first song I arranged actually was Give Love on Christmas Day.
Okay.
For a Christmas gig that we had at the school. I did that, and I did a Baron Christmas medley.
Oh, wow. Okay.
From there, the music teacher saw that, I had some ability and I never stopped, you know. So in 2007, I actually got permission to do a Pan Down Memory Lane song for a single pan band that was kind of housed at the school called Is We. Don't think you know about that band. It's a really old band, Is We Steel Orchestra. And I did my first like professional arrangement for pan on single pans in 2007. The song I did was it's Blue Boy, Jab Jab.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jab Jab. Blue Boy. Yeah. So that was my first, and from there,
just took off.
Arranging.
Nice.
You know.
I also understand that you composed a song a while back. Was that you?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I did actually compose a song called Panther Piece. I did the music aspect of it, and Amrit Samru did the lyric actually. Yeah, that Panther Piece actually, well, it wasn't my only composition.
Okay.
I actually composed a lot of songs before that, but that was the only one that was published. And it actually started with the music first. I had no idea what the song was going to be called. It was just music notes put together that I liked. And when I took it to the studio, because a lot of the members of NSS were compiling like a CD.
Okay.
And that one came up. And at the same time, there was a lot of gang violence. And one of our members was actually caught in crossfire, and she got hit.
Wow.
So we were really like trying to advocate for peace. And America was like, how about Pan for Peace? Because, it kind of fit with that in the chorus part of the song. So Ahmed actually sat down and he did all the lyrics for the video, for the music, sorry. And yeah, it came together really nicely. We got a singer, vocalist Sheldon Reed, and we got some brass and stuff like that, and it came together really well.
It's a nice piece.
And I don't know why actually I didn't continue to do more every year, but
get on that, man.
The process, the hours in the studio, like trying to get everything together. I was like, oh my gosh, can I do this all the time? Yeah. But when you have people like Kareem Brown around you, I would just sit on behind a computer and do it. It should be
easier.
Yeah.
So
I'm actually think about doing some more. Maybe classical next time.
Not think.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it. Don't think about it. Just do it.
I'll do it.
So speaking of composing and arranging, what's your thought process in doing that? Do you have a certain thought process, or you just kind of listen to it and?
Well, thought process for me is just, like when you go to the bathroom and you're singing in the shower, it's kind of like the same thing. You're allowing some notes and it's like, oh, let me compose some notes. But for me, it's always about the music. It's never really about the lyric. Even when I listen to music on the radio, I really pay attention to the music more than the lyrics. So, yeah, my thought process is really just it's just about creating a nice melody.
Yeah.
And the words will come after. Yeah, for me, yeah.
That's the composing.
Composing, yeah, that's composing. Yeah. But for arranging, actually.
For arranging, he will be at home and he'll be like, oh, I have this real good idea. And and he's singing it and he's whistling. And then when he goes to the panyard, it's completely different.
Nah.
I said, I thought there was this other part that he did not change that.
Yeah, sometimes you think something in your head. And sometimes you think something in your head and you go to the panyard and you put it down on the pan and it's like, you hear it play over and over and then you kind of put something on top of it and makes it sweeter. So it's like, let's upgrade this thing and do it better, Yeah, for me, I don't really sit behind the computer and score.
And that's my process.
Yeah,
It is very different.
Okay.
Yeah, my process is I like to go in the band and, like just surround myself with the vibes of everybody, the pans, the music, and just put it on the spots and, just go with it as it go along. The music actually takes me where it wants to go most of the time.
Right.
So it's really easier for me to just go in the panel and, just play around and let the music happen there, holistically. Yeah.
So different process. We work completely differently. People
Right.
ask, oh, why you don't do something together? It's like our process is so different.
Right.
That he does his thing and I do my thing over on this side. For me, it's more so I sit behind the computer. I'm behind the computer. My pan is next to me sometimes. My pan is not always there. It's from here to score, a lot of the times. And sometimes if you have kind of like writer's block or I'm stuck somewhere, then I might get my pan, and then I take that to the panyard or to the group that I'm arranging for. And then if I hear something that I want to change, I actually don't change it right there on the spot. I go back to the computer and fix some things and then come back. So for me, it's like I need to visually see the music. Whereas for you, it's more of a feel, which is a feel for me too.
Yeah.
It's a feel for me too, but I like to see it.
I like to visually see the music too when it's people playing it. So like, I like to look at the players. So when they get a part, I like to look at them and see how they're vibing now. So that'll give me an idea of, all right, they want more hype, or I could change this part here, like I can feed off their body language when they play the music, so.
And that might actually be the reason too, because a lot of times when I arrange, or in the past years that I've been arranging, I'm actually arranging for a band that I've never heard or never will hear, unless I get a video. So sometimes some steel bands in the US might ask me, can you arrange this song for us? And I'll say, okay, and I'll arrange it. But I have no idea who the band is. I kind of try to get a sense of, okay, so what level are the players? What instrumentation do you have? What kind of vibe are you looking for? So everything is pretty much behind the screen. And then I send the scores, and I don't really hear anything until the show. And it's like, oh, here's the show. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, great. So I don't, many times in my arranging, I don't have that opportunity where he has a full band just there waiting, for him to get instant feedback. Right?
Yeah.
So I guess that could be why my process has developed into
the way it is.
It's really important to have a system that works when you're not scoring the music, because for me, I need to have like a group, like a really small group of like maybe 5 or 6 players, strong players, that will take the music, and then they will distribute it after. So most likely section leaders, strong players that will distribute music after. But it's important to have a group that comes out consistently, that you can work with on a daily basis, at least 1-2 hours straight.
Yeah.
And that you can put down all the ideas, and if you don't like something, you can just change it immediately instead of having the entire band with it, then to change it. So that's one really important aspect of it that I need to have when I'm taking my approach to arranging. Yeah.
Right. So Maya, do you find when you score for other bands and there's a certain part they don't like, do you have to rescore it, or do they just kind of figure it out on their own?
Well, that's a great question. Well, if they don't like it, they've never told me that they didn't like it.
Okay.
So it's not to say they give me that kind of feedback. It's more of a, we need something fun. It's usually something local, soca or calypso, and and I arrange it where there's some sort of activity inside of the arrangement. That's what I like to do, because mostly it's for secondary school or high school. Or even middle school. So I might put in some, ways and, raise your hand here, so then the arrangement turns into a performance as well on score. And the more feedback I'll get from the teachers will be like, oh, they're enjoying it, or they're having a good time. And I'd always say, let me know if there's anything you need me to change, anything that's too difficult. Because it's also a balance to try to write it in a way where it's not too hard for them to play. But no one's ever really said, I don't like this part, can you change it? I mean, if that's the case, I'd be happy to change it, to adjust it to something that they can play. But so far that hasn't happened yet.
Okay,
So it's
I'll
either
knock on wood for
they
you.
keep it to themselves or
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I
Okay.
don't know what to do in that situation. Like if I doing some music and it's like, I
I
don't
don't
like
like
this, change
this.
it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm looking for that person anymore. That'll be the first thing
No,
I said.
it's a different scenario because
Yeah.
you're being hired to arrange something for the band. So you want to be able
No,
to
but you're the professional.
please.
You know your job.
It's different. I'm open to if they said if there's this part that they couldn't do or too hard or maybe
But
they don't like it.
that's a difference. That's a difference.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I don't like this part, I don't like this part, change it.
But if that hasn't happened, if that does happen, you will cross that bridge when you get there.
Fair enough. So I understand, Mia, that you started, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Pakache Steel Ensemble?
Pastiche.
Okay, and the Virtual Steel Band. What got you the idea to start that?
Well, Pastiche wasn't just me. It was actually
Okay.
a group of us at Northern Illinois University, and there was this need to sort of have an organized group because where we were in Illinois, we were getting a lot of requests to perform.
Okay.
Right, so we weren't necessarily, and when I mean we, I mean students of Northern Illinois University. I see Kenneth that's on the chat. I don't know if he's still here, but he was a part of that group, you know, and a part of the creation. And Yuko Asada, I'm trying to think, Abe Breiling, Scott McConnell. There's like a number of us who were students at the time, and there'll be these requests to perform. So we go here and perform and go there and perform, but we weren't really an organized group. We didn't know what to call ourselves. Yeah, we're NIU Steel Band, but they're not really, you know. So we decided to form a group, which was Pastiche Steel Ensemble, and you know, through that we were able to formalize a lot of our gigs. You know, we then get things like uniform, signage. You know, so it turned into something where we were able to sort of do projects kind of like the Virtual Steel Band. And then we came to Trinidad and we performed for the International Conference at Panorama. Wow. And Pastiche, because it was so closely tied to NIU, Northern Illinois University, it saw many different members. So eventually I would have left Pastiche because I went to Florida State after. And then new students who came in, fan students who came in to NIU would have then filled that ensemble. And that's sort of what we did. And we actually did a lot of educational presentations as well. So we were asked to come into schools and we do workshops, have people play the instruments, talk about the history of pan, talk about how the pans are made, you know, sort of spread the word of pan and Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. So that's sort of how that got started and continued. It's no longer, Pastiche is no longer functioning as well. I think I saw Yuki maybe. Yuki Nakano was also a member. Barry Manette, he on the last. I think I may be forgetting some people. But anyway, so the Virtual Steel Band was sort of separate, but because the group of us who were in the Virtual Steel Band were also Pastiche, we kind of linked it. The Virtual Steel Band, I saw the Virtual Choir by Eric Whitaker. Okay. Where there was this global performance where, you know, he's pretty much conducted in the dark to nobody in silence. Yeah. You know, and people, singers from all over the world, hey, sing my song to my conducting. Yeah. And he put it together and it was like all these faces on the screen of people singing from all over the world. And I just thought it was brilliant. Yes. And I said, why don't we do one for pan? There's so many panners around the world. I'm sure something like this, you know, people might be into. And so I then called Yuko Asada. I called Scott McConnell and I called Abe Breiling. Those were the three that I called who were also Pastiche members. Right. And I told them, yeah, let's do Virtual Steel Band, I can link it with Pastiche, however we want to do it. Do a fundraiser, boom, thing. And then next thing you know, we got 9 countries in the first Virtual Steel Band. The second Virtual Steel Band had 11 countries, which were different countries to the first one. Some of them were the same, but quite a bit of the countries were different to the 9, the first 9. And we had 300 participants in the second one, you know, from 11 different countries. So it sort of took off in a direction that we couldn't anticipate. It needs to be fun and something cool, but we kind of didn't realize that, oh wow, You know, there were all these people who were willing to play, and then we had 400 people who were registered, and 300 participated. You know, because you can register and be a part of it, and then not submit a video just because maybe you got too busy or something like that.
Right.
So that's sort of how the virtual field band came about, and then Pastiche was sort of the ensemble that we kind of, you know, duplicated, and then we functioned in both roles, with both. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, more like 20 something. But hopefully we'll have a three.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna get into nitty-gritty a bit. Is that okay?
That's it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, I understand there's Pan in this school system in Trinidad. How is that being taught in Trinidad? And can we also use that same structure in other parts of the country?
In other parts of Trinidad?
Of the world? Of the world, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, PAN in schools, PAN in the programs that exist in PAN in schools can be, let's say, we have different structures for PAN in schools, right? We have programs like MPU, which is the Multicultural Music Program Unit, you know, and then of course, outside of that, you can be hired as a music teacher to the Ministry of Education, you know, with PAN in schools. Now, one thing I've noticed, you know, being an educator on the tertiary level, is that PAN in schools are taught mostly by rote, right? We have a lot of rote learning, you know, which is exactly how we would also learn in the PAN yard, you know, and stuff like that. Then, of course, you have schools who come together and participate for Junior Panorama, you know, which might be also separate from something that they would be doing within their school system. You know, so you kind of see that there's different formats depending on the school. But the MMPU in particular, I sort of have been looking at their structure quite a bit because we have some students who are from UTT who are also teaching in the MMPU. And they sort of move around, you know, from school to school. And they have sort of a schedule where all they do is sort of teach PAN. Right? Now, MMPU is not just PAN, but PAN is a big part of the unit. You know, so one direction that I'd actually like to see happen, which I'm hoping is sort of going to take place. Hello, I seen somebody saying hello, but I can't see their name. Hi, for those who coming in. Is that we sort of have a mixture between rote and reading. Now, some schools do read, and some schools do have a strong literacy program where they might learn music theory, you know, and then also we have CXC music, which is our end of high school exam. You know, so some schools will also be able to do music exams and have a little extra music training than some other students, you know. But one thing that I would like to see is a tie between rote learning and being able to read a score, you know, so that we'll be able to function more in a music literate way, you know. So then when they come to the tertiary level at UTT, you know, then they'll have a stronger theoretical background. But the thing is though, because the education system has historically been so strong on rote learning, the players, you find a lot of great players. Right. As in, I'm noticing when they come into UTT, everybody can play, right? Like they're strong cutters. You know, they have good technical ability, good ear. So even when you're teaching things like reading, once they hear the person next to them play it once, they got it. They have it, right? Which doesn't help if you're trying to improve the reading because they already know. You know, so getting that balance would be something that'd be great. But I would say our even though there are improvements that we can make, we've also come up from a far way from what it used to be as well.
You play PAN for CXC?
Yeah, I did music for CXC, and I played. I'm trying to remember if I played PAN, but I also did the grade exam. I did the ABRSM, which is the Associated
Board for
Music. ABRSM.
Yeah. That's a British
system that you could do music theory, grades 1 through 8. And then
Oh,
we
okay.
also had PAN exams, University of West Indies, where you can do grades
Practical.
1 through 8 practical as well. So these things also run along with the schools.
Oh, okay. Okay. So how would an individual get into UTT PAN program or the music program in UTT? Is it easy, or do you have to like do a certain exam to get in?
Well, I mean, the first step is just applying online. We have a
Hmm.
website where you apply, and there are requirements for the application, right? That's 5 CXC passes. It would help if you had some musical background, but pretty much when you come into the program, we start from scratch, in a
Oh,
sense,
okay. Okay.
and there is an audition and interview process, that we look at. And do we accept everybody? No, we don't. We can't
Right.
accept everybody that applies.
Yeah.
So what tends to happen is we look at their background, which you'd realize a lot of applicants who come in would be associated with a band of some
Hmm.
kind. So we'll ask them
Okay.
what band they're from, if they're from a band, what's their musical background, what's their theoretical background, because this is a degree, you cannot just get through on your skill alone.
Right.
You also have to be able to function in a classroom. You also have to do things like history exams and ear training classes and music theory classes. So we really look for somebody who is, all-rounded and who would be successful in the program.
Okay.
But the application process, I won't say it's difficult. It really isn't, I think. But if you want to succeed in the audition, those
Hmm.
are things to think about.
Okay.
Not just your ability to play, because everybody who's coming to play,
Right.
mostly, right?
Right.
It's more so what gives you that edge over just playing,
Right.
your academic skills, stuff like
Okay. Interesting. Think about it.
that.
So, since you've performed around the world, what have your experiences have been? Have they been positive? Have they been challenging?
Well, we both have experience performing internationally. I've performed throughout the US, Caribbean, Canada, Europe,
Hmm.
Japan, Australia,
Wow.
Austria, and everywhere that I've gone to perform, it's been really positive. You
That's
know,
good.
um,
Hmm.
of course, you might get into areas where people's never seen the pan before. So they're looking
Right.
under the pan. Where is it plugged in? Like,
Right.
well, it's not plugged in. Well, I don't understand how it works.
Right.
Well, I can explain it to you. you know.
Yeah.
And I remember I had a guy come up to me once and look at this, and he's like, I can make that. I'm like, okay. I said, well, here, what? Go ahead and make it, and I'll be happy to come here.
Yeah.
That you're gonna make. But it's for me, personally, the experiences have been positive.
Hmm.
I enjoy traveling in general, so traveling with your pan though is a different story. That's
I've
not so
heard.
fun.
I heard stories.
That's not so fun. The
Yeah.
performance I had in Austria was actually with St. Joseph's Convent Choir and Pan Ensemble, and my pan
Hmm.
didn't arrive until the day after my solo performance.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I had to use a different pan. It was a whole bacchanal, but we
Hmm.
made it. It worked. We performed. We did what we had to do.
Yeah.
So of course you have those kinds of nightmares, but I can't say the performances themselves were bad. I saw the reception of the performance, I should say,
Hmm.
were good.
Yeah,
What about your
yeah,
experience?
usually I have to agree with you. They're always positive when you go to a foreign place,
Hmm.
where they're not as familiar with the steel pan. They're always fascinated and they're interested to learn about it and to touch the instruments, you know.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't say there's a lot of challenges during touring. However, the challenges might be leaving a country, getting to leave the country in the first place, organizing those tours, and making it happen from back here,
Hmm.
that might prove the most challenging. Having persons in positions of influence and power, to really see the potential of
Right.
the instrument and what it could do for the country, if you if we try to market it more internationally. So that might be our challenge, to get more influential individuals on board or organizations on board, that really has a financial power to make things like that happen, because, the instrument could really generate a lot of revenue for the country. It'd be an international instrument.
Yeah.
And also, I think the challenges are there to get Steve Pan outside, for groups to perform consistently outside. We have a lot of Steve Pan groups in Trinidad. We have a national Steve Pan group as well. So to get these groups outside internationally is the biggest struggle. In touring,
Yeah. Huh. So, in terms of that, do you think there are people willing to travel internationally to do certain workshops in certain countries that have bands? Do you think that would be possible?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no question.
Definitely.
Okay. Okay. So, do you think, I'm thinking outside the box here, if you guys would come here and do a workshop in my band, and I will go over there and kind of talk to your bands about Pan outside of Trinidad and how it is in Canada, and yeah? Okay. We'll talk.
Oh, that's fantastic. Absolutely, that can happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So we'll talk.
Yeah.
So we're nearing the end. I usually do this with everyone. Give us a fun fact about yourself that you wish to share with us.
But I have an easy fun fact, because it seems to be so strange to people, but to me it's quite normal. But I don't like chocolate. I don't like it. I'm a huge foodie. I love food, but anything chocolate, it's completely disgusting to me.
Really? Okay.
Really,
that's interesting.
So no chocolate cake. Well, no chocolate ice cream, or really just the chocolate bars. Like, I just don't see the appeal of this brown.
Goodness.
So
Sweetness.
That's my fun fact. I don't know.
Yeah. So have you always been that way, or is this like a new?
Always. When I was growing up, my mom said, "Don't tell anybody on Valentine's Day that you don't like chocolate. Bring it home." And she used to eat all. My father also doesn't like chocolate, so maybe I got it from him.
Okay. How about you, Kygel?
For me, fun fact. I could say that I am a legendary FIFA player.
Oh.
PlayStation. I'm almost like 99.9% unbeatable.
I have to say, I mean, I see him play, and now that we've been on lockdown, he's been playing quite a bit. And, I always know if there's a situation where he doesn't win, because then it's like, what? But that doesn't happen very often.
And then you try to tease me, so you lost this time?
Yeah. He's a huge fan of football in general. And
so who's your team?
Chelsea.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to support anybody else. Not that I was supporting anybody before, but apparently, as soon as we got into this relationship, I was a Chelsea fan, and I said, okay.
Okay. You had no choice. So you've had to have gone to a Chelsea game then?
Yes.
No.
What? But Kyle is telling you he can beat you in a FIFA game any day.
No way. No way. No. It's definitely on our bucket list to go to London and take in a few matches. We were actually trying to find some trips to go on this year, but you know what happened.
Yeah.
So it's definitely on the cards for the future. It's something I want to experience. Yeah. But I'm a Chelsea fan from behind the TV. Official.
Official? Okay.
Apparently I am too.
As long as you're playing FIFA and you don't throw the remote at the TV, you're good.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do that.
I didn't
can't
want
see him
to.
do that. Really?
Some years ago, I had this was back on PlayStation 3. My controller, I was actually playing the game. And I was like, no way! And I pulled the controller, and I actually took some paint off the wall with the controller.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So if you find the TV broken, you know why.
I would know why now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So we're close to the end. Does anyone have any questions for our lovely couple? If anyone has any. Is there anything else you guys like to mention while everyone's typing?
Chelsea.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us that we haven't really touched on?
While we're waiting for the question.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say?
I just want to shout out my, if they're on here, but my youth band players. I know 2020 is a little bit topsy-turvy, but this is still our year. We are still champions in the junior panorama.
Yes.
Shout out to the youth. So you still have the whole remainder of the year to celebrate your win. Good work. Don't let 2020 put a damper on your year. It's still your year, right? And don't worry, 2021 is our year too.
Of course.
Don't worry.
Speaking of Panorama, have you thought of songs for Panorama yet, or are you kind of still waiting?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know because 2020 this year, I was actually thinking I would have gone with the 2020 song. But, when everything came out, I was like, and I show, and then, like, a lot of bands were doing the newer songs already. So usually I don't like to take the same song. So I was like, I had to go back in time this year. So next year, we don't know. I really don't know. I'd like to go to a new song that's pumping that everybody likes. But if a lot of bands take it, it's really not appealing to me anymore. So I'll actually have to try to just, go with my gut and go with what fits best, actually. Yeah, so. Yeah, I really don't know. I'll actually look from like around December, I'll start to look at music for Panorama.
Okay. So a question came in. What pan do you guys play? I know you said you don't play anymore.
Well, I'm mostly a tenor player, but in having to pursue a bachelor's and stuff like that, we learn all the instruments. You learn to read on all the instruments, but I'm most comfortable on tenor. That's my primary instrument.
Okay.
Well, I play also tenor too. But
Also tenor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I play the same. I also play tenor because when I arrange, I actually use a tenor pan. So tenor, but I'm more percussion, drums, timbales, congas, symphony, classical percussion, and regular conventional stuff. Yep.
Okay. For Dr. Gormandy, this is for you. Saying that you arrange and send music to be played, is there ever a performance that was not executed like you had in mind?
Well, most times when I send the music, it's actually not quite as I thought it would be, but in a good way.
Okay.
As in, they bring it to life, So I can't say that I've ever been disappointed with a performance, but it's more so of, they did something different, or, they may have repeated a part that I didn't put in the score, or, stuff like that. So, yes, it's not executed in the way that I was expecting, but in a good way.
That's good.
Something that they would have added their personality to it, and which I always like to see.
Kygel, have you arranged for other bands beside the youth still band? Yeah.
Well, when I started, my first experience was actually with the ISV Steel Orchestra. That's a single pan band. That was my first experience. And then I went off to start with Southeast. Actually, my secondary school for junior panorama. So I would say from 2014 2014, 2015, and 2016. Actually before that. I think it was from 2013, actually.
Okay.
So 3 years at secondary school, and then I left and went over to All-Star Youth because it's a different category of
Right.
competition. They call the non-schools category, under 21, actually. So, yeah. And then there was actually one other single pan band I arranged for, which was the Harlem Syncopators. Yeah, I did arrange for them as well. Yeah.
Okay. Last question before we get cut off here. For Dr. Gormandy, going back to the all-female ensemble, the Mark Loquan show, do you consider continuing that venture and using all-female ensemble in other places, shows, and competitions?
Oh, well, that experience was really great. We had such a good time, because, yes, there are all-female ensembles that have existed. There are not very many of them, you know. So that was a very exciting experience. And it is something that I would consider moving forward with. I mean, as of right now, there's no immediate plans to move forward with an idea like that, because actually right now I'm working on another project called Planetation, which will be launched quite soon. And it's an online sort of portal where arrangers and composers can have their music placed online for purchase. And it's also going to be a subscription-based platform for all information, field plan, where you can access the station, CCs, blogs, podcasts, and stuff like that. So I'm working on that. That's actually going to be launched very soon.
Okay, looking out for it.
Look out for that.
Yeah,
and maybe after that gets going and settles, maybe you might consider the all-female thing. I mean, everybody sort of gave us positive feedback to that. So I'd be happy to continue something like that.
Okay. One last question. We have like 2 minutes left. Kygel, what made you focus more or choose percussion over the steel pan?
That's a great question, When I started to play pan, it goes all the way back to the first year I started to play pan. When I went to do diamonds, there was a band practicing there. It was actually the Eastern Boys Primary School. They were actually practicing for Junior Panorama, primary school category. And I was sent to the pan to start learning to play pan. So, Uncle Bob gave me a pair of pan sticks. And he said, well, go down to the panyard and, So, I mean, I not knowing how to start, I just went and I saw the first available pan while the band practicing it. And I go on behind it and I started to move my hand, And I just felt his hand come behind me. I was like, no.
Okay.
And I went and stand up behind the percussion room. And I was really looking at the drummer there. And I was like, yeah, man, this is fun. And, I actually started to practice the drums when I went to do Diamond Spaniard for senior band practice.
Okay.
And every night I would go on the drum set and try to play. And I always had the equal passion for playing drums all the time. And it's not something that's new. It has always been there. And everywhere I went, I always tried to play other drums and, so.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, you say you play classical percussion and stuff, but he's very good at the drum set. I mean, he drummed for All Stars when we won International Panorama in 2015.
Nice.
Yeah,
we have like 5 seconds left. So I just want to thank you guys for being on the show, and we'll see everyone else next week.
No